Now let's take you to our communities, and something is coming up that has to be spoken about here on the show. I'm sure that you've noticed that gridlock in town because of Christmas nearing, and we going to enjoy ourselves during that period. The fact that road constructions are ongoing, so gridlock in town and all that, but short drivers, that is commercial drivers, are sort of taking advantage of the situation.
They always do, don't
yes, because when you close from work and you are supposed to move from one location to the other, especially places like in Sawan, places like Kaswa, places like Tema, places like Dodowa, Adenta and all that, because of the distance and the fact that you would have to stay in traffic for some time.
Yeah.
So the drivers are of the view that we are asking you to pay this amount, which is a fixed amount. And if you do not pay it, then you better stay in town. But because you are eager to get home and you really want to get home so that you catch some sleep before you come to work the next day, you'll be tempted to hop into the bus.
Because you have no choice.
Yeah, you have no choice. Because I can't think far why you be charging an amount of 30 Ghana cedis from Accra to Kaswa. Maybe the Kaswa people, you would want to get in touch with us and we would find out from you how much the fare is from Accra to Kaswa, or from Circle to Kaswa, or from Medina to Kaswa, or whatever place in Accra to Kaswa. Let's understand. We saw a video going viral, or which has gone viral, on an amount of money that is being charged. That is 30 Ghana cedis, which is very troubling. We will bring you that video after. There is a report that has been filed by City News' Mano Anyama on the unapproved fees that commercial drivers are also charged. You speak to the authorities that be and have further conversations on that. Let's bring you those videos.
Victoria Yasantwa is a regular commuter on the La Paz Kaswa stretch, and she laments that fares are already being increased, adding that the festive season could be used as an excuse to worsen the situation.
Instead of 10, and I say 7 cities, or 15 cities.
This is bring a Mary, a bit me I west.
West. Sata mu de be west na sensu ato apete and maybe so to ye kaso ye jobia 25 Ghana.
The Yuletide usually comes with increased pressure on public transport, with long queues resulting from the heightened movement of people for shopping, outings and other activities. This pressure often leads to high demand for vehicles, and some transport operators exploit the situation by charging unapproved fares.
We tell them, no, it's not a force. Understand? We have our station cars that have been coming. But if you don't have cars, you call some cars from different places. Understand? So we don't increase fares.
So even though there is a fixed price and you are taking a token, in a way it's like you're increasing the fares, don't you think so?
Oh, that's what I wanted to show. It's a token. We don't like people being in a queue. All our cars are over there. Understand? So we call them and tell them, oh, make them, they will sweep and come. So that's just a token.
Many drivers justify the fare hikes by citing persistent increases in fuel prices.
The fuel price, how the fuel price rises, that's why we normally do that.
This year, however, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly says it will tackle the trend head-on. Any transport operator caught charging unapproved fares will be arrested and prosecuted. The AMA Sanitation and Motor Court will be on standby throughout the festive period to prosecute offenders.
Any driver that will not listen to what you say here, and you go out there and charge more than what you're supposed to take, I'll make sure that we have a court there, the sanitation court. We will take you there and make sure we remind you, because we are all Ghanaians. I always say when I have opportunity that we have only one Ghana, same as we have only one Accra. So if we don't fix it, nobody will fix it for us.
According to the AMA, Its operation of commercial vehicles bylaws 2017 require commercial drivers to convey passengers to their destination stations without forcing them to alight and reboard to incur additional costs. The bylaws also prohibit drivers from charging more than the approved fares agreed upon with transport unions. For the Ghana Private Road Transport Union (GPRTU), the move is long overdue. The union condemns the practice and urges drivers to adhere to approved fares or face arrest.
As GPRTU, we totally condemn any driver who charge above the approved lorry fares. We are not in support with it. We condemn it. And the mayor has even kept too long by not constituting the task force to start checking those things. We are all ready to help and make sure right things are being done.
So that is the situation there, charging unapproved fares because people are in difficult situation, and also you not going through the right channel to take this amount of money. See, we are our own enemies, because if you are charging 30 Ghana cedis from Accra to Kaswa, or you're charging 25 Ghana cedis from Accra to Kaswa, and ideally what is supposed to be taken will be maybe 15 Ghana cedis or less, you are a thief. Yes, you are. Because what you are doing is you are exploiting or you are extorting people. You are taking money from them that is ideally is not supposed to be taken. We are in this country, and when GPRTU wants to increase fares, there are issues or people are raising questions about that. We understand that fuel prices are maybe at a particular level that people will say it's okay, it's stabilized. We also understand that you would have to buy spare parts for your vehicle. You'd have to stay in traffic for a very long time or gridlock for a very long time. But that doesn't give you the right to go beyond the limit and be charging unapproved fares and be putting the passenger in a difficult situation. Because if I'm in town and I've not budgeted 30 Ghana cedis from Accra to Kaswa, then that means I'm home. Or that means I'll stay in town. I can't get to my destination or my abode. So it's very difficult that these things must be checked. But the authorities that are supposed to check these things, we don't know whether they are or not. I'm sure there are associations and there are unions that are supposed to check in these things, but it's so uncalled for. You can't be in a country where people will be charging whatever they want and there are unions that they are under. Anyway, we are joined by the Public Relations Officer of GPRTU, Abbas Imoro, who is joining us to answer some questions and also tell us what the union is doing about this immediately, so that people do not suffer as we are entering the Yuletide. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
I trust you are doing well.
Yeah.
Alhaji Abbas, first of all, I want to find out from you, if you can let us understand how much is the transportation fare from Accra to Kaswa, from Circle to Kaswa, and also from Adenta or Medina to Kaswa?
Currently, I might not be in the position to be specific on the mentioned routes, but all I'll say now is when you were speaking, they go ahead, we came up somewhere in May on fair reduction of 15%, of which became law for all of us nationwide. We have a system which we use to increase fares. when it becomes necessary. It's the same system that we used to reduce fares. Now we reduce this fare even based on one component, around 18% reduction on fuel, which really benefits the driver, not the car owner, not anybody. Although we don't use only fuel to run transport, but that is one of the significant components that we use. And the laws of the land allows us to do that, and the same law allows us to increase fares when we have to. So we, in the transport operation sector, or I should say GPRC, undisputed, the leading private transport operator in the country. All we are saying is anybody who charge different from what we agreed upon and what we presented to the transport ministry to become the current law guiding us. Anybody who does anything different has gone contrary to the laws. The laws are there for all of us. Ghana is not a country whereby anybody will do anything that is deemed necessary. Else, I would have put my vehicle on the road and charge how I want because the vehicle belongs to me. But no, that is not the system we use. So we condemn those drivers. It's not all the drivers who are doing that. We condemn those drivers who are doing that. At times they take the normal fare in the morning, then even during rush hours, they change and add something to what they are supposed to take. We always say it's very bad. We condemn it.
But
you said something. Let me conclude with that.
Okay.
That you don't know who is responsible. Either the unions, the laws are made in the country, but it is the law enforcement agencies who make sure we implement to the letter. So it is not left to the law enforcement agencies, the police, the assemblies, for them to make sure right things are being done.
So how do you expect the law enforcement agencies to actually take control of this situation? Because obviously, well, let me use trotros. A trotro driver can be parked anywhere and there's no police at that point, or there's no any enforcement agency or enforcement agent at that point. And he can just put out any price. So who is going to be responsible for what that driver does?
Driver parking in this way don't be specific on only trotro. Every vehicle is vehicle. If we are not supposed to stop at a particular place, that should be done by all vehicles, not only trotros.
All right.
But about the fare, the lorry fare, it is the police and the assemblies who are supposed to make sure right things are being done within the organization.
Okay, so for instance, what we saw not long ago, people charging 30 Ghana cedis from Accra to Kaswa. I hope this information has gotten.
Yes.
This has gotten to your table, but as a union, do you know if these people are within the GPRTU, another driver union, and if so, have you been able to identify them?
Yes, most of these people are the floating drivers who does not belong to any unions at all. And by law, we have our LI 2180 Act. If you look at Regulation 121, these are people who are not supposed to work under the laws of the land. If you don't belong to any recognized transport organization, transport union, transport company, you are not supposed to pick passenger and take money from that passenger.
All right, so the passengers do not know about this.
But here we are. Yes, the passengers do not know about it. But the law enforcement agencies know about it. The unions know about it. We've been saying it. But we are not responsible to arrest anybody. We, the transport operators, legally operating, we are not supposed to arrest anybody. The law enforcement agencies are there to implement whatever laws have on the line.
Okay. All right, you keep talking about the law enforcement agencies, but do the law enforcement agencies know about this? Like when you make your decision, do you involve the law enforcement agencies in your meetings? Are they part of the meetings, or after your meeting you go and tell them? Which is it?
Hello? Hello, Mr. Abbas? Okay, so we lost him. But we'll work around the lines and get Abbas Imoro, who is the public relations officer for GPRT, because we are discussing a very important issue. Because if we do not check this immediately, I'm sure by 20th to 28th of December, people may be stranded in town, because it has even started. Yesterday around at Dabraka, around 4 to 5, you would see people running because it was about raining. It was cloudy, and during that period, it's very difficult for you to get a public transport or a public vehicle, and put it that way. So people are running from Accra to Circle to get a vehicle to their destination. If you are watching us and you reside around that area, say Kaswa, Weja area, let's know the approved fare that ideally these church drivers are supposed to charge, which is not happening as we are seeing now, because they are charging exorbitant prices.
Or apart from that,
yes, any other area that you want us to know the situation. But Chris, this brings us to a bigger problem, because
it's worrying. This conversation,
our transport system has failed.
It is very worrying.
If we really had a very robust transportation system, we wouldn't be seeing this where people would be saying that, let me take advantage of the situation and then make money into my pocket.
And I really wish we can get Mr. Abbas back.
Yeah, definitely. We try and raise him back again.
I really need to understand when they have these meetings to put out these laws, because he keeps saying they do not have the right to arrest anybody. They do not have the right to, punish these people. Do you understand? That the law enforcement agencies have to do that. So my problem is, if you have these meetings and put out these rules, do you involve the law enforcement agencies in your meetings?
Well, we'll try and get him back again and ask him questions. But there's another group that also they are part of the entire driver union. That is the Commuted Driver Association. The national PRO is on the line, David Aguado. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
I trust you are doing well.
I'm doing good, my brother.
Good. We are talking about an issue that is coming up, or it's actually going on, but we are just seeing it concerning unapproved fares that some drivers are charging. Has this come to your attention as a driver union?
My brother, thank you very much, and good morning to all the viewers. This problem, or this canker, is now on our throat, and we all want to find an antidote for it. And the antidote that we'll find is to get appropriate loading points, like terminals, that can contain it. That will solve that problem. But you see, our drivers, I will not hide behind any mask and say anything. Our drivers are doing it. Because when they load at the station, they don't do it. But when they get to the street, like they are picking the passengers at bus stops and other things, those over there will take advantage and tell you, the driver, maybe you are going to La Paz to Kaswa, they will say Kaswa Street. Instead of 10 cities, they will say 15 cities or 20 cities, which is not the best. It's not the best practice. That is amount to defrauding. That is amount to frauding. So we, as my earlier speaker just speak on, Mr. Abbas. You see, we must, despite making the law, they are not there. or making the prices they are not there. But they are the law enforcement agencies. They have to enforce the law and make the law work.
Sorry, who is the law enforcement agency? Is it the GPR?
The police are the law enforcement.
No,
The police are the law enforcement agency.
Okay.
They have to enforce. You see, if I get the wish, I will tell the police that they should use the bus stop in the evening and then in the morning. Be there because a policeman at La Paz did some 3 days ago. I was very happy. I was standing by and I saw him. The driver was loading so 10 cities. The police didn't stop. He didn't utter a word. He made the car full before he gets to the driver and asked the passengers. Driver didn't say, "Oh, Jim was saying," and they say, "Oh, so or 10 cities." Show me a 10 cities.
How much the fare?
The fare itself was 6 cities.
Wow.
But the driver was charging 10 cities. So the police insisted that the passengers should pay 6 cities. Do you know what happened? The next thing the driver did, as soon as he moved, he removed his crutch, his legs, his foot on the crutch, and the car jumped and they say, "Mark me crutch," I say. The police says, "I will be here till you fix that crutch and take the people." And he insisted, and they do that. You see, if we are putting ourselves in the right position and doing the right thing, this madness, this cancers all will stop.
But how many driver unions do you have at all in this country?
For now, the ones that I know about, we are 16.
16
we
driver unions.
form the coalition of commercial transport operators. We are 16.
So does it mean that every public transport or every public driver, say trotro driver, commercial driver, should be part of this union? Is that it?
Yes, that is what the law says. The law says everybody must belong to a union. Everybody must belong to an association. So we are expecting all drivers to belong to a union. But, you know, because we don't have terminals, we don't have, even our bus stops are not being mined by old people. It is these boys that you go to bus stops and you see them rascals. The way and the manner they look self is frightening.
Wow. So as we speak now, has there been any meeting or conversation with the other driver unions together with the MTTD, that is a law enforcement agency, the transport ministry, to ensure that we actually work around to get this issue resolved?
If I tell you there is something like that in our pipeline, then I'm deceiving you or I'm deceiving the public. We didn't have nothing like that. We are talking internal, but we putting it before the transport minister and then all the stakeholders that this is the measures we should take. We haven't reached that point yet. So,
Mr. Aguado, that means that passengers will go on and be suffering like this?
I won't say yes, but what we will do is, you see, there is something that says, there is a calm proverb that says, we are seeing this thing. It started small, but now it's now rampant. All the country, when you go to Kumasi, it's there. When you come to Accra, it's there. When you go to Central Region, it's there. Western Region, Volta Region, everywhere, when there is scarcity of cars, then they take advantage of that. And we have to stop it. Once it has come to public domain, it is flying in the social media everywhere. When some people will take it as our baby child and then nature it and make it work before this year goes to an end.
But Mr. Aguado, I also want to find out from you. You are part of the driver unions and you've been driving on the road and all that. What is accounting for this? Is it that the drivers are saying that we are buying more fuel, or we stay long in traffic, or Christmas is here? Or what exactly is it?
For Christmas, we should put it aside because they started this thing before even this December. They started this thing far November or October, November, thereabout, or even September, thereabout. That they started this thing. When they say that there is scarcity of cars, then they start doing that. But before even this year, they started this way. When they are from La Paz going to Accra, they will first load circle, or Alajo. When they get to Alajo, they say circle. When they get to circle, they say Accra. The same time. You see, that's where it started from. But now they have changed the narrative, and then now loading at Kaswa Street or La Paz Street or Pokwasi Street, Amasama Street, Medina Street. What is that? And we all have to fight it.
Right.
The media is part. We, the transporters, are part. The security services are part. We should all involve in this and then stop it.
Right. So, Mr. Agbado, Mr. Abbas earlier mentioned that not all the drivers are part of the union. So, how do we know which drivers are part of the union? Because this is a bit worrying, because we never know. If we don't know that you are part of the union, you can actually be a criminal. So, how do we know which driver is part of the union or not?
Was my senior brother, or yes, GPRC is the biggest and then the largest transport organization. What he says is right. But this is how I see it. You see, yes, it's not all drivers that belong to a union. But the problem is, even those that belong to union, when they get to bus stop, where there is nobody there to supervise over them, they do what they are doing over there. Meanwhile, we are from a union or a discipline union, I said. But when they get to that place, that is what we have to fight for. Being in a situation, that one is left to us. You see, when we do that, that thing started some time ago, that every union has to have this symbol or a logo on the car so that we know that this car belongs to this car. The reason why that narrative changes, maybe I have a car at my union. It's been branded or it's been logoed. When I sold it or I sell that car out, it's not under my jurisdiction again. Then my logo will be on it. That's what brought this whole hula. But if all of us will come to one understanding that we should brand it this way, and if you are selling your car, you have to take it off, then that will trickle down to everybody. If you are selling your car to somebody, the first thing you need to do, or if you write on it that you are selling your car, the first thing you have to peel off the logo, and then before you sell the car. That can help solve this situation. But to our colleague drivers that are listening to us, this conversation this morning too, it's mandatory that every driver that drives commercial car must belong to a union or an association. If you are not, then take this advice. Go and join any union of your choice.
But how many members do you have concerned?
Concerned, we have in Accra alone, we have 1,520 members.
Wow.
So the whole nation, the data is not with me, so I will not lie to the nation.
Well, Mr.
The whole nation, I don't have the data here now.
Mr. Agbado, any message to passengers? Is there a way these passengers can report?
Yes, there is a way these passengers can do. You see, if the person is loading, let me say, Kaswa Straight, 15 cities. If you didn't take the car will be there. If the next person comes, you didn't take, the car will be there. They will be forced to charge the right prices. But if they are saying Kaswa 15 cities and you two are in rush and go and join it, if you are aging and you are betting with them, so we should do the right thing. But the problem solver, or what can solve the problem, is that the MMDC is to have a place for us to be loading. And the passengers also get to the loading point that the MMDCs are giving to us. They should go there and then pick the car. But when you pick the car on unauthorized place, they will charge you unauthorized fare.
Okay, Mr. Agbado, thank you so much for your time. David Agbado is the Public Relations Officer for the Concerned Drivers Association, a driver union that is also against what is happening. It's unapproved fares. We have some messages coming through. We'll read them quickly. Good morning. I am at Ablekuma in Sakina. The approved amount is 8 Ghana cedis, 50 pesos, but you can pay about 15 Ghana cedis from Insakina to Accra. So the person gave a breakdown. We move from one point to the other, and the charge is Insakina to Ablekuma is 4 Ghana cedis. Ablekuma to Awoshi is 13 Ghana cedis. Awoshi to 7 Ghana cedis. Awoshi to Kaneshi is 6 Ghana cedis. Kaneshi to Accra is 3 Ghana cedis, 50 pesos, with the same car. Well, this is very bad, and that is the message coming through. Another individual says that, good morning, please. We, the people at Ashaman, are also facing such problem. They charge more than from Ashaman to Atadeka. You can also join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comment on this. We're trying to find a solution to the problem and see what the driver unions are doing about it. At least maybe the Transport Ministry can also wade into this conversation together with the MTTD. There is something that the National Security brought together up and says that if you see something, say something. You don't want to be sitting aloof and not report these problems. But we are having Abbas Imoro again on the show, the GPRT Public Relations Officer. Good morning, Mr. Abbas. We lost you briefly. We're asking you if there was any conversation you've been having with the agencies, that are the law enforcement agencies, when it comes to the entire engagement to ensure that these issues are addressed. Okay, Abbas, I'm sure where you are is a bit noisy, so you would want to move a bit away from it. But what I'm asking, we're asking before the line dropped, is how is the engagement between the driver unions and the law enforcement agencies?
Cordial, when we made mistake about some do's and don'ts, certain things that are not supposed to be done. We speak about all these things, and the current fair implement, illegal, we speak about that as well. So this is why I'm saying that I don't believe that it will be fair for GPRT or any recognized union to include the law enforcement agency before it.
Okay, Abbas, thank you so much for your time. I think where he is a bit noisy. We understand perfectly that maybe he's moving from one place to the other, but I think he's made a point well noted, or he's made his point that we've all heard, and that has to do with the relationship between the driver unions and also the law enforcement agencies. Let's hear from you that you are watching us now, because all what we are having conversation on is about you that you are watching, and you moving from your house to work and from work to your house, how much you are charged. Let's get it straight, how much ideally you should be charged. Now that David Agbado has come to say that this didn't start now, if we pamper it or we nurture it, it's going to grow. And when it grows, we can't control it. And that means passengers will now be stranded. And you will be compelled to pay that amount because you don't have an option.
Well, he made a very valid point when he was talking about what passengers should do. You know, he said sometimes the drivers actually park on unauthorized spaces. And you can see this happening every day. And sometimes the police is there, and a driver will park like on a spot that you know is not a bus stop. They create imaginary bus stops out of nowhere, and the place just becomes messy, rowdy, and the police is there sometimes, and the police can actually see that this is not a bus stop, and the bus stop is just ahead. Do you understand?
It has the results in the traffic situation that we also witnessed. This morning I was listening to Bernard on the City Breakfast Show, and he made mention of an issue he encountered when he was moving from Ho to Accra. He set off from Ho at around 2:15 and got back to Accra around 8. And when you get to some of the places like you cited Pong, for instance, people blocked sort of the church drivers are just loading people anywhere, and you just block the street, and they are unconcerned about the situation and all that.
They are very unconcerned.
They are very unconcerned.
They are nonchalant. They just do things anyhow. And
unconcerned.
And I think that whole area really needs to be looked at, because if like you said, if we don't nip the bud now, it's going to grow to something that we cannot control. It's going to grow. It's
going to be a very big problem that we cannot address. So the conversation we are actually having about, or the conversation is about the unapproved fares that some of the drivers are charging now, because when you close and it's late, you would have to get to your home and you'll be charged an amount of money that ideally shouldn't be. If you are supposed to pay 10 Ghana cedis, they are charging around 20 Ghana cedis. That's 100% increment. If you are paying 7 Ghana cedis, they'll be charging you 15 Ghana cedis. If you are charging 20 Ghana cedis, they'll be charging you 30 Ghana cedis. And they'll say in Sawam straight, or Kaswa straight, or Medina straight. So that means you, the individual that you've bought, and you are supposed to alight at maybe Domain, or you are supposed to alight around Spotem, because it's going to in Sawam straight. So you are compelled to pay the 20 or 30 Ghana cedis just from Accra to Spotem or Domain. You understand? So if we do not work on these things and passengers do not report, sometimes you can find a way and report. See, we are supposed to test the law in this country. You are a passenger, you also want to get to your destination. We are not saying that you don't want to get to your destination. Sometimes you are actually frustrated, you've been in the queue for a very long time, and eventually you have to get home. But let's try and test the law in the sense that we will need to just try and also report these drivers, and let's see how the system is going to work. Because if we do not deal with this issue, believe you me, like Aguado indicated, it didn't start today. It started with a short route. Now it's moved to they saying that we don't have enough vehicles on the streets, so they will have to charge these approved fares. And as we continue to see these things, it's happening this year. It could go on in 2026, 2027. Then it becomes something that is normal. Oh, if I don't even get a car, this structural driver will come and he will want to take 50 Ghana cedis from Accra to Kaswa, from Accra to Amasaman. So I will just have to pay like that and just hop onto it and go. But this brings to a bigger problem, like I'm stating. Our transportation system has to be checked.
Yes.
We were in this country that 245 buses were brought to this country that were going to do BRT Ayalolo buses.
Yeah.
We don't know where the Ayalolo buses is, Chris. If you go to other countries, right, you see their transportation system.
Nigeria has BRT.
Oh,
yeah.
You see their transportation system, and the next bus coming, you actually have notification on your phone that this bus number 2 is going to this place, or this bus number 3 is going to that place. We have failed big time when it comes to transportation system in this country, and I'll say it loud and clear, because the BRT system, I followed it keenly. We have failed in the sense that the buses were left to rot at Achimota. Some of the buses were also left to rot at Adenta. Some of the buses even in the Ashanti region. We don't know where these buses are, and that has become the bigger problem that we are facing right now. We know of the Metro Mass Transit. The Metro Mass Transit could hold a huge number of people that can be transported from one place to the other. We don't even see what is happening with the Metro Mass Transit buses. Recently, where there were complaints that New Plan was complaining, we can't maintain these buses, but these buses could actually be built in this country. Now we have to import these buses. The transportation system in this country has to be checked. That is what we failed. If you drive, there were routes or corridors that were being used for the BRT system. So you are driving from Amasaman to Accra. I'm sure you've seen this yellow markings that have been done at Apeka. Another one too is around Achimota. Another one too is around Accra. These were ways to get the BRT system to work. But what has become of the BRT system? You go elsewhere. We do not need a dedicated lane for BRT. No, we do not. Just make sure that these roads that we are using ideally can have these buses on, and we can move from one destination or from one location to the other. But anyway, what is happening right now is, if it's not checked, Chris, let's not go. If it's not checked, it's going to be a bigger problem. I'm very passionate about this because maybe my sister will be in there, my brother will be in there, my friend will be in there, and it's a very big problem. Some of the messages that are coming, someone said from 37 to Medina is 5 Ghana cedis, but in the evening they charge 10 Ghana cedis. That is 100% increment. It is happening everywhere. Winneba to Sredwo is 11 cedis with Chocho, but sometimes agencies, they will charge 25 Ghana cedis. This is more than 100% from Swedo to Winneba Junction, not even Winneba Town, and you are just helpless as a passenger. So this comes to the doorsteps of the authorities. The transport minister, please, Joseph Nikpe, please check this thing for us. The deputy transport minister, the Jomoro MP, please, you can actually check this thing for us. When it comes to the law enforcement agencies, we know that the IGP is there. Just push your men into the town, the MTTDs, let them check what is happening. I like what Joseph Agbado said, that the police officer was there, saying that if you do not charge the approved fee, the approved fare, the passengers will just pay what they are supposed to pay to you. So if we actually fight this canker, we would get a result out of it, like the way we are fighting Galamsey in this country. So please again, let's get it dealt with. So we have another
message right now. Good morning, Channel. Well, in my opinion, if we really want to kill this menace, then we should start reviewing our charges. The motivation for all this is because the drivers turn to make more money than these short stops. So if the charges are spread in such a way that the long distance equates that of the short routes, no driver will continue, knowing the value will be the same. And trust me, the drivers themselves wish to get home early, and the frequency is stopping doesn't favor them. But they are doing it because of the motivation, which is the extra cash they make from it. So if this is curtailed, automatically we kill their interest and kill the menace. And hashtag Breakfast Daily. Good morning to you, fine presenters. In other jurisdictions like Europe, there are buses to transport workers to and fro work. Where are our government Ayalolo buses? It's because government have left the aspect of the economy to a private individual trotro owner. We need more buses to convey people. Else, don't blame the trotro drivers. They are in business. Thank you very much, Kweku, for sending that message.
So it's a bigger problem.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a bigger problem that has to be dealt with.
Because when you look at it well, you totally cannot also blame the trotro driver.
Of course, the trotro driver is making money.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we should be lawless. There is a law governing every business in this country. You just don't go and put your vehicle on the street or on the road and say that I want to move from one location to the other. No, there is a law that has to govern. We are sitting here. If I say something that is bad, the National Communications Authority will come after us.
Sure.
If there is something that I say that is bad, Ministry of Communications will come after us. So you just don't go and put your vehicle on the street and say that I want to charge ABCD because of hardship or because of this. No, we don't do that. The law enforcement agencies must work. The Ministry of Transport must work. You just don't sit in your office and say, well, it's allowed, the drivers. No, we don't do that. No. We have law governing this country. This country is not a lawless country. Let's go.